Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ed from vinylalbumcovers.com. You know what it is. Welcome back to another episode of Slept On. That's right, kids. This is the show where we talk about songs by artists that you might have missed. Now, you certainly didn't miss the artist. After Seven had a pretty good run there between 1989 and I'm looking down to see how long it lasted. Like 89 to like 95. I think that's fair. They were present, if nothing else. But anyway, let's get into this just a little bit. So After Seven formed in 1989. After Seven was made up of Kevon Edmonds, Melvin Edmonds, and Keith Mitchell. Now, what's interesting is in the original marketing information, Keith Mitchell was referred to as their cousin. He's not. He's a friend of theirs. A talented friend, but a friend nonetheless. So that's how we get After Seven. So anyway, they signed to Virgin Records America, which has absolutely zero history at this point with R&B. But so be it. They signed with Virgin Records America and immediately get, of course, their brother is Kenny Edmonds, otherwise known as Babyface. He's their younger brother. Everybody thinks that Kevon is younger than Kenny, or younger than Babyface, and he's not. Neither was he younger than Melvin. He's actually the oldest brother. It's the voice. I totally get it. I actually tried to correct that on Wikipedia a couple times, and people re-corrected it. I'm like, no, it's not right. He's old. He's the oldest. And finally, after a little while, somebody did the math and figured it out. And went, oh yeah, you're right. And now they haven't touched it. So anyway, you have me to thank for that. Or maybe you have me to thank for the confusion. I don't know. But I was trying to get it right, I promise. Anyway, this was years ago, nothing recent. But at any rate, so After Seven forms, they get Kenny Babyface Edmonds involved, which then gets Daryl Simmons involved, and it gets L.A. Reid involved, and it gets K.O. involved, and a couple of other people, and they come together and they create this absolutely amazing debut record that gets us Ready or Not, and it gets us Can't Stop and Heat of the Moment, all of which do very, very well on the R&B charts, i.e. the only charts I care about. But Ready or Not actually crossed over and did really well in pop charts too, go figure. Fun fact, the vocals on Ready or Not, they are purely Kevon Edmonds and Melvin Edmonds. Keith Mitchell does not sing on that song. If you look in the album credits, you'll see that that's the case. And that may not be the only time that happens, but I think it is. I think everything else has Keith in the background. He's a good background singer. So it's not for a lack of talent. Maybe he just couldn't get there that day or something happened. Who knows? But either way, so little fun fact. There'll probably be more of them as we go. So, or maybe not such fun facts actually as we continue, for those of you who know the history. Anyway, so they were fairly consistent hit makers up through like 1995. I think the last hit, if I'm not mistaken, let me verify just in case I'm wrong. Till You Do Me Right, amazing song. But their last real hit was Till You Do Me Right. That was their last real hit that came from Reflections. Such a great song. My gosh, if you haven't heard it, you need to hear it. And then they did this cover of Sarah Smile that was actually pretty good too, but that was a couple of years later, and unfortunately, I mean, it did a little something on the R&B charts, and it peaked at number 31. Actually, if you go to our video cast, our front video cast, where we talk about covers that are better than the originals, Dre actually had the unmitigated gall to say that their version of Sarah Smile was better than Hall & Oates' version of it. And I, in turn, had the unmitigated gall to agree with him. I actually do think it's better. It's very much its own thing. I mean, Daryl Hall is classic, of course. There's no getting around that. He's legendary. But I don't know, man. There's something about the way Kevon sings that song. He really connected with it, and it works. So I actually agree with Dre. I think After Seven's version of Sarah Smile's better. And there have been a lot of versions of Sarah Smile, and most of them are not great, but that one's amazing. Your mileage may vary. So anyway, somewhere in there, and I'm not exactly sure when, neither does it matter, but somewhere in there, Melvin had a stroke, and it rendered him unable to do much of anything. It wasn't a mild stroke. It was a pretty major attack he had. So he was kind of rendered unable to sing for a long time. And Cavan was like, if Melvin's not in the group, we're not doing another record. And he carried through with that from like 1997, which was the last time that they really charted anything, until 2016. By 2016, Melvin could appear on the record, even if in auto-tuned form. He could at least appear, and his singing speech was a bit slurred, but he still sounded good in spots for sure. So anyway, he was fit to go, and so they decided they were going to make another record. And by this point, it wasn't just the three of them. They were now augmented by Melvin's son, Jason Edmonds, who has an excellent voice all his own. And so he had become kind of the third member of the group that was out there on the road with them to create a three-man After Seven. But in the studio, there was four of them. In fact, at times, there was actually five of them. Another one of the Edmonds boys created a song called "Too Late." He wrote it, and actually even ended up singing on it. So at one point on the record, there were five of them, which is kind of fun. But at any rate. But we want to focus on this album. This album is called Timeless. It came out in 2016. They've since released another. They've since released another record called Unfinished Business. They released that a little less than 2 years ago now. I confess I haven't heard it. I need to listen to it though. I'm sure it's excellent. I just haven't had a chance to hear it yet. I do remember hearing No Place Like You, and it was dripping in auto-tune, and I honestly didn't like it. I don't have much patience for auto-tune, and Cavan Edmonds on auto-tune doesn't even make sense. Like, that's just bizarre to me. But whatever, choices were made. So anyway, what we want to do now is talk a bit about Timeless. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I don't do it. There is a lot of incredible music on Timeless, I have to tell you. Timeless has just absolutely amazing songs on it. Like Let Me Know is really, really good. That was the first thing I heard off that record and liked it right away. There was the one we're going to talk about. There's Everything, which features Jason Edmonds, which is fantastic. They did a slight re-record on I Want You, which appeared on a Babyface record, and they replaced Babyface with Melvin. Sounds amazing. Loving You All My Life is great. They did a cover. I talked about that in the series of covers better than originals too, although only half-heartedly, because the original's impossible to beat. But they did this cover of Betcha by Golly Wow, which is amazing. It's been musically revoiced and everything. It's bordering on cocktail jazz with a little bossa nova. It's really cool. You got to hear it. Just trust me on that one. But it's just, it's an amazing, amazing record. Very few, very few very few mistakes on it. Running Out's really good. There's just some good stuff on that record. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. I bought it on the strength of Let Me Know, and I'd only heard the beginning of that, and I just thought, well, I kind of have to have that in my life. And that album turned out to be, for me anyway, the best After Seven album. I don't think they ever did better. I don't think they've done better than this record. And you generally don't get that for an artist that's this late into their career. By 2013, we're talking, way late into their career. 24 years in at this point, if my math is correct. And gosh, by 2013, 54, Cavan was like 54, 55 years old. So not a child. And now he's actually 64, and it's absolutely frightening. I have the age wrong. I can't do high math. He was born in 1958, so 1958 to 2013. So you do the math on that. I don't want to do math. But at any rate, he was not a kid by any means. He wasn't a kid when After Seven started. He was 35. He'd already kind of done the 9 to 5 thing on the stock market exchange in New York, and then kind of started his singing career very late. Kind of like Al Jarreau. I think they were both roughly the same age. Both were 35 when they started. And so it's pretty incredible when you think about it. But at any rate, what we're going to do now, because we're now 12 minutes in and you've heard nothing, my favorite song off the album kind of vacillates. And when I started thinking about what song I wanted to highlight from it, I bounced between a whole bunch of them. But I was thinking about, like, it got to the point where it was like, are we going to do Everything, or are we going to do If I? And I'm still on the fence, because they're both such great songs. I mean, Jason's put his foot in Everything. I'm trying to tell you. It's so good. It's the goodest. But If I gets this slight edge, and I don't even know why. I think maybe because the vocals are a tiny bit more impassioned. I think that's what I'm feeling. That's kind of pushing me in that direction. So what we'll do now is we're going to listen to that song together, just you and me. And I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut while it's going by, because it's tough. It's so good. This is a lyric video, so I don't think there's an original video for this. There should be. There's live performances of this too that are absolutely incredible. But at any rate, here goes the lyric video. This is If I by After Seven off of the Timeless record. Written and produced by Kenny Babyface Edmonds and Daryl Simmons. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Dramatic.
When I was in love with you, you were so good to me. But I wasn't loving you the way I knew I should be. And now that you're gone, ain't nothing been the same, not since you've been away. Now that you're gone, I just can't get it together. Life with you is so much better, and I'm missing you like every day. Oh, baby, if I could turn back the hands of time to the days when you were mine, if I just had a chance, I would so be a better man.
I love that line.
Baby, if I would have treated you alright, you would still be by my side. If I just had a chance to go back in time and take what is mine and get back my life again. Yeah, get back my life. When I was in love with
Mm. There's no way you didn't like that. You had to, because I was loving it. As often as I've heard that, it still sounds so fresh. Um, yeah, yeah, that Kavan's voice, my gosh. It's not fair to be able to sing that good. Um, this was not the youngest man at this point, not much older than I am now, but that's because I'm really old. I'm not. Neither was he. But but he wasn't a kid by this point, and pulling off those notes like it was nothing. I didn't hear any auto tune or any assistance. That was just him getting it. You hear me? Um, just incredible. The song itself is absolutely amazing. Um, that was clearly worked on a bit. Um, it's got such a great lyric. I love the release at the end of the chorus. I'm trying to like think of all the things that I would have said if I could have run my mouth during the song, but I was asked not to, so I'm trying not to do that. But then it requires me to remember everything I was going to say. Um, yeah, Jason's background vocals in the back are nice. The counterpoint he was adding, um, you could quite clearly hear it. Um, just beautifully recorded too, for that matter. I mean, just very, very well done. Babyface has lost nothing. Neither has Daryl Simmons, because that song and that production are all the way there. I'm trying to tell you. Um, so the album itself did kind of okay. It didn't blow the doors off of anything, but it did I. It got all the songs got attention on the adult R&B charts. Several of them went to number one. A couple of them went to number one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to verify that and make sure that that's correct. I don't want to make any mistakes there. No, I am wrong. Um, so a couple of I Want You and Let Me Know peaked at number 6 on the adult R&B charts. Running Out peaked at number 3. Too Late peaked at number 8, and If I peaked at number 8. I thought it got to number 1, but I was not correct. So I'm glad I looked. But anyway, not terrible, but but not too shabby either. And I mean, this album sounds expensive. It sounds like they put work into it. It doesn't sound like it was recorded in your mom's basement. Like it sounds, it has a really nice, professional, sleek sheen to it. It's a good sounding album. So if you haven't heard Timeless yet, just trust me, you need to. It's an amazing, amazing album. And that song is, I mean, I like I said, I mean, I bounce between favorites, but for the moment, like that's my favorite. So, but thank you very much for watching yet another episode of Slept On. I know these are coming more slowly. I'm doing the best I can under the circumstances. I'll try to speed them up over time, but one a week is, or even I think it's been a couple of weeks now, but I know, I'm sorry. I'm trying here. Really, I am. But thank you very much for coming along for the ride. I know I've lost some of you, and I can understand why that's happened. Totally. But anyway, for those who stuck around, I hope this is rewarding. I mean for it to be. I'm trying to remain watchable. So anyway, thank you very much. Hopefully, I gave you something that you could enjoy this time. I'll keep trying. I still have a very long list of slept on ideas. This was in the pile. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I have added album covers. I can actually do that more easily now. So those things are appearing on the site. What did I just do? I did Ecstatic by Daryl Hall and John Oates. I just did that one a little while ago, so that's up there. So if you go to the newly added section on the front of the website, you'll see that. I'm actually toying with adding something else to the website too. It's not too difficult to add it, so I'm toying with the idea of kind of giving the website more of a community feel and kind of trying to draw some more attention to the site itself. So I'm working on it. It's not difficult to do, but it's a little tedious. So bear with me while I work on that. And of course, there's another thing that I've been threatening for I don't know how long. That's also coming too. I just kind of have to have the energy for all this stuff, and it can be difficult sometimes. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you very much for watching. This has been another episode of Slept On. There is absolutely more on the way. There's more episodes of Hot Garbage coming too, and just more stuff in general. By no means have I given up. I just have to take it a little more slowly. But yes, for the 90th time, thank you very much for watching. I have been Ed, and in fact, I will continue to be Ed after this is over. And I am from vinylalbumcovers.com, and I will always be from vinylalbumcovers.com. And yeah, please keep listening to great music.